Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel General Hospital Official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers: Sasha's miscarriage scare. Was she rushed to GH after Sidwell strikes? According to General Hospital spoilers, Sasha Gilmore Corbin and her unborn child may become targets despite all of her efforts. Sasha offers a long list of reasons why she does not want anyone else to find out Michael Corinthos is the father, including his dangerous relationship with Sonny Corinthos. Michael was burned to a crisp by an explosion that was not intended for him. It's evident that anyone connected to Sonny is at risk, and Sasha naturally does not want her child in danger. After losing Liam Corbin, the stakes are extremely high for Sasha. If Sasha lost another baby, it may be a terrible loss from which she would never recover. Unfortunately, there are still fears for the safety of this young one. Because of Cody Bell's perplexity, Jason Morgan appears to be preparing to play father for a while. Jason is Sonny's right-hand man, thus this may not solve Sasha's situation if mafia drama breaks out. Anna Devane also accuses Jen Sidwell of being responsible for the penthouse explosion, which is additional cause for concern. Sidwell had already brought Sasha into chaos when he kidnapped her and blew up the warehouse. Sasha escaped in time thanks to Jason's assistance, but Sidwell's threat remains now that he has returned to Port Charles. We can't forget how Sidwell spied on Sasha at church and overheard her discussing her pregnancy. Sidwell may target Sasha again at some point, so there could be risk regardless. A pregnant character will almost certainly experience a miscarriage scare at some point. Even if Sasha's kid survives, there may be some Sidwell shockers or other types of danger in the meantime. After a calamity, Sasha may be rushed to GH, worried about her pregnant child's survival. That's the kind of thing that might bring Jason closer as he defends Sasha during some terrible circumstances. Of course, we'd like to assume that the writers will let Sasha's kid live this time. It would be a tragedy if Sasha had to go through the grief of losing another child, so let's hope this kid lives and thrives in the end. General Hospital spoilers indicate that Sasha and Jason will continue to bond in the coming months, so stay tuned for more love predictions and updates on any terrifying baby news. GH spoilers: who is the bigger threat, Lucky or Sidwell? General Hospital spoilers hint that two powerful forces may be set to collide. The presence of Jen Sidwell has everyone on edge, including Mayor Laura Collins, who is debating whether he or her son constitutes a greater threat. While Sidwell may have a bone to pick with Lucky Spencer, Laura is aware that Lucky may interpret Sidwell's bold geographic move as an invitation to start a war. Will Lucky be able to control his new violent side when he discovers that the man who kept him captive in Africa is hiding on Spoon Island and may be planning his next attack? Why is Sidwell in Port Charles? Sidwell's landing in Port Chuck is not a pleasant experience. He's returned from Somalia, where he was targeted by Lucky, Holly Sutton, Anna Devane, and Jason Morgan, and he may be taking revenge with him. Are his eyes fixed on those who have mistreated him? Is he out to exact his retribution, or did Lucky and his rescue team simply introduce him to the prosperous port city that has done so well for Sonny Corinthos' businesses? Sidwell's presence may begin to feel like a dark cloud over the city, and every move he takes could foreshadow a fatal game of retribution. But who will be his first target, and how far will he go to even the score? Laura has expressed her anxiety for her Lucky. She was correct in assuming that he would behave differently this time. He's plainly angry and frustrated, and he's developed a desire to do more dangerous work, much like his late father, Luke Spencer. Laura is concerned that her son, spurred by wrath and trauma, may seek his own vengeance on Sidwell. Lucky, fueled by his determination to go to extraordinary lengths for justice, might easily transform this into a personal vendetta. The prospect of his becoming the same thing he's struggled against is a mother's worst nightmare, but Laura understands Lucky's determination. Will he spark the match in this explosive scenario? Sidwell is strategic. There could be an unexpected twist ahead. What if Sidwell's true aim isn't somebody from his past, but someone completely different? Rumors are circulating that Sidwell may not be in Port Charles for the reasons everyone expects. Could he be the mastermind behind the recent attack on Sonny, which involved a bomb in the Don's apartment and left Michael Corinthos seriously injured? This theory proposes a chilling strategy: use an act of violence against Sunny to upset the power structures in their little hamlet. If Sidwell is actually behind this, his strategy is far more intricate and diabolical than simply retaliating against a card-shark humanitarian assistance worker. It's about asserting power, potentially even seizing control from the shadows while everyone else is preoccupied with personal vendettas. Port Charles is on the verge of another dramatic twist as tensions rise between two of the town's most divisive individuals. The looming question isn't simply who will strike first, but who will survive the unavoidable consequences. Drew Kane and Cyrus Renault have created many enemies throughout the years due to betrayal, vengeance, and unsolved grievances. The real question is, who will pay the final price? The community has barely had a chance to breathe after a series of catastrophes left lasting scars on its citizens. The past year alone has seen catastrophic losses, including Sam McCall's stunning death, Dex Heller's untimely death, Gregory Chase's heartbreaking fate, and Christina Corinthos Davis' personal tragedy. If that wasn't enough, Michael Corinthos narrowly escaped a near-fatal accident in his father's penthouse. Amid all of this sadness, rumors of yet another huge event are spreading. Given the high stakes and explosive emotions at play, many are wondering if the next big surprise will include another devastating loss, or possibly a long-awaited reckoning. Drew Kane's journey into villainy has been slow, but it's now almost impossible to ignore. He was once a beloved figure, but he has made an astonishing number of enemies, even turning those closest to him against him. He has exhibited little to no regret for his questionable decisions, particularly his scandalous romance with his nephew's wife. Even as Michael struggles for his life in a hospital bed, Drew has jumped right into the current custody battle over Willow Corinthos' children, much to the chagrin of Carly Spencer, Sonny Corinthos, and Tracy Quartermaine. His increased hubris has also put him in direct conflict to Nina Reeves, whose tolerance has long since run out with his plotting. Drew's betrayal of Curtis Ashford has not gone unnoticed. Once a valued friend, Drew has since deceived and used Curtis in order to gain power. And then there's Jason Morgan, a man who isn't known for forgiveness and has every incentive to seek vengeance on his estranged brother. Willow may soon understand Drew's duplicity and turn against him, adding to his growing list of enemies. If anyone in Port Charles has a bullseye on their back, it's Cyrus Renault. Despite his attempts to portray himself as a reformed man, mistrust surrounds him, particularly after the horrible killings of Sam and Dex. Grief may drive individuals to desperate actions, and Cyrus may soon find himself in the sights of those seeking punishment. Jocelyn Jacks, who is still hurting from Dex's untimely death, is convinced Cyrus is responsible. She's already gotten control of Dex's gun, indicating that she's willing to take matters into her own hands if given the chance. The only thing preventing her from pulling the trigger could be Jason or Carly intervening before she does something irreversible. Then there's Alexis Davis and Dante Falconeri, both of whom are devastated by Sam's murder. Alexis, whose Cassadine blood runs deep, may very well unleash her dark familial instincts to exact her own revenge. Meanwhile, divided between his duty as a cop and his allegiance to his family, Dante may decide that justice must be administered personally. And don't forget Christina, a true Corinthian who never backs down from a fight. Of fact, the most dangerous threat to Cyrus may be Jason Morgan himself. Though years have gone since he and Sam were last together, his feelings for her have never diminished. With his reputation for seeking vengeance, there's little question that if Jason sets his eyes on Cyrus, it won't be long until the infamous mafia enforcer exacts his own brand of justice. So, who is genuinely in the greater danger, Drew or Cyrus? While both men have opponents, the statistics appear to favor Cyrus as the more likely to die violently. He's outnumbered, outmaneuvered, and fast losing allies. If his past sins eventually catch up with him, he may face a fate worse than incarceration. Whether he's killed in a fit of rage or as part of a meticulously calculated scheme, one thing is certain: his time in Port Charles may be up. However, Drew underestimated the anger of people he has offended. With tensions increasing and vendettas nearing a boiling point, the following weeks may bring an explosive confrontation, one that may forever alter the landscape of Port Charles. As the week progresses, she'll be forced to navigate the storm developing around her, with Tracy Quartermaine's rage providing as a clear indication that not everyone will back her decisions. Willow has struggled to find the correct path, divided between following her own intuition and the external constraints that shape her existence. Nina Reeves, the ever-concerned mother, has been in her camp, encouraging her to believe in herself but also hinting that compromise may be the best long-term option. However, if Willow decides to leave the gatehouse despite Nina's counsel, it could be another indication that Drew Quartermaine has a deeper grasp on her than she realizes. The prospect of Willow not only moving out, but also bringing her children to live under the same roof as Drew and his daughter, Scout, is enough to send shockwaves across Port Charles. And if Drew actually intends to make his transfer to Washington a reality, the risks will only increase. Nina will not take this lightly. She'll see it as a clear power play, a premeditated maneuver to separate Willow from those who actually care about her. The thought of Drew increasing his grip will drive Nina to interfere before it's too late. But she won't fight alone, she'll need an ally. Her options are limited, and while she has already conspired with Curtis Ashford to undermine Drew and confided in Ava Jerome about her problems, this war will necessitate a surprising alliance. Enter Carly Spencer. Carly's return to town will coincide with Nina's plan coming together, and she could be the unexpected key to turning the tide. Though these two mothers have long been at odds, they have one unbreakable bond, their grandchildren. If Willow actually intends to take Wiley and Amelia out of Port Charles, Nina may see an opportunity to team up with Carly to prevent this from happening. Neither lady has any feelings for Drew right now, and if Nina plays her cards well, she may persuade Carly that opposing him is in their best interests. A hypothetical alliance between these formidable ladies might spell doom for Drew, who will not see the attack coming from all sides. With so much at risk, Nina is willing to go to tremendous lengths to save Willow from making what she regards as a disastrous mistake. As the battle lines are established, Port Charles prepares for yet another round of scheming, power plays, and shocking betrayals. General Hospital News: will Lexi Ainsworth return? According to General Hospital News, many people are curious about Lexi Ainsworth's current activities. After all, she's had quite the year. Lexi left Port Charles back in 2023. General Hospital News: will Lexi Ainsworth return? Lexi took to Instagram after it was reported that Kate Monsey would replace her as Christina on General Hospital to clarify a few details. She posted on Facebook, "Hey guys, I wanted to come on here and speak to my General Hospital fans and let you guys know that after 10 transformative years, both personally and for my character, that I will be leaving General Hospital, and I was looking forward to this upcoming storyline because it was inspired by a personal experience of mine. But I am currently working on writing my own story from my point of view, which has been, thus far, cathartic and hopefully inspiring to other women." Lexi revealed her decision to leave Port Charles in 2023. She remarked that leaving the show was bittersweet for her because she considered many of her castmates to be part of her real family. She has also been there from the start of her career. She went on, "It's definitely bittersweet and hard to say goodbye to this chapter in my life because it was such a significant part of my life." What's next for Lexi Ainsworth? "I started at the age of 16, and my family on the program is like a second family to me because I grew up on it. It will be terrible not to be able to work with them on the program longer, but I know I will maintain relationships with those folks and hope to work with them again in the future." In other words, Lexi appears to be doing her own thing and has no plans to return to daytime television. General Hospital spoilers, supportive exes, surprise moves, and serious warnings. General Hospital spoilers and updates for the week of Monday, February 3rd to Friday, February 7th include supportive exes, unexpected actions, and ominous warnings. Lulu Spencer attempts to be a supportive ex, Nina Reeves makes an unexpected move, and Laura Collins issues a strong warning. On Monday, February 3rd, Lulu tries to be encouraging to Dante Falconeri, whom she finds in the middle of an embrace with Brooklyn Chase. Brooklyn was simply trying to console him after he was granted a week off from work and not able to investigate Sam McCall's murder. Elsewhere, Sonny Corinthos tries to soothe his friend and ex-wife Alexis Davis, who is similarly distraught after learning that Sam's death was a murder. Meanwhile, Elizabeth Baldwin sees through Lucky Spencer's facade, which surprises Trina Robinson. Sasha Corbin is surprised as she speaks with Maxie Jones. Tuesday, February 4th, Jordan Ashford confesses her plan to Isaiah Gannon, while Drew Quartermaine makes a surprising revelation. Meanwhile, Lucky opens up to Elizabeth after his mother, Laura, updates them on some news. Carly Spencer, most likely returning to Port Charles from Baden-Baden, Germany, makes a discovery. Elsewhere, Sasha is questioned more and put on the position by Felicia Scorpio, while Christina Corinthos Davis discusses a strategy for solving Sam's murder. Willow Corinthos makes a decision, and Sasha lashes out possibly at Cody Bell, who has been spreading false information. Cody overheard Sasha's talk with Jason Morgan on the deck of the Quartermaine boathouse and assumed Jason was the father of the baby. In the meantime, Lucas Jones and Carly catch up, and he shares his thoughts. And, surprise, surprise, Tracy Quartermaine is furious. What's going on now? Surprising moves and making pleas. Thursday, February 6th. Nina makes an unexpected move, while Dante makes a plea. Could Nina be working on her scheme against Drew, and is Dante begging to work on Sam's case again? Elsewhere, Lois Cerullo seeks up Martin Gray, possibly to discuss the problem with Brooklyn's adult child. Portia Robinson checks in with Brad Cooper, most likely in the hospital. Unfortunately, Rocco Falconeri overhears something he shouldn't. Could it be related to Sam's death, a murder, or something else? Laura issues a strong warning to Drew on Friday, February 7th, while Lulu experiences a difficult meeting elsewhere. In other news, Nina attempts to forge an alliance, which is most likely related to Drew's misbehavior. In the meantime, Sonny receives medical news, most likely regarding his atrial fibrillation. Jordan briefs Anna, and it is expected that they will discuss the Digitalis killings. With so many illicit operations going on in Port Charles, is anyone truly safe? Writers for General Hospital refuse to get Dante and Lulu back together. According to General Hospital spoilers, despite the fact that the spark between them remains, they are unlikely to reunite anytime soon. General Hospital writers refuse to get Dante and Lulu back together. Of course, we're talking about Dante and Lulu. Laura asked Lulu about her feelings for Dante on the most recent episode of General Hospital. She tried to admit that she isn't and that the timing isn't ideal because Dante is grieving Sam, which would take some time. However, many fans believe that Dante and Lulu deserve a second chapter in their love tale, correct? In any case, Laura told Lulu that she can love Dante as a friend, implying that they are unlikely to reconcile anytime soon. It goes without saying that the internet is plenty with opinions on the subject. Some even stated, "I like Dante and this Lulu. They have good chemistry together." But it's not surprising that Lulu still loves Dante. We knew this 4 years ago, before she was blown up and put into a coma. It's no surprise that she's taking up exactly where she left off. Another critic commented, but Dante would fall in love with a finer Lulu than ER's Lulu. They lacked synergy the last time around. Maybe Lulu and Dante will bond over the fact that they both had children they were unaware of. There was also this comment, Alexa Havens does an excellent job as Lulu. And it appears that they are reining in the Carlyisms and making her a little more level-headed and mature. This will undoubtedly alter once she discovers that BLQ hid her immaculate conception from Dante. General Hospital spoilers, what's next for Dante and Lulu? It goes without saying that General Hospital fans will have to tune in to see what happens next. Alexis Davis had weathered many storms in her life, but none had threatened to shatter her as utterly as the death of her eldest daughter, Sam McCall. Grief was not new to her. She had experienced betrayals, heartbreak, and tragic losses, but this time was different. This time, the anguish cut through her like a sharp, unyielding sword. Sam had succumbed to something far more awful than death. Sam had not just disappeared owing to illness or accident. She'd been murdered. Someone had intentionally ended her life, extinguishing the light that had guided Alexis for so many years. Alexis had suffered with hidden demons for as long as she could remember. Alcohol had once been her escape, a means to numb the pains of life. But she had fought against the darkness, clawed her way back to sobriety, and determined never to let it consume her again. Sam's presence had been one of the things that kept her grounded, a reason to stay strong. But now that her anchor had been pulled away, she was faced with a scary question. Would she be able to hold herself together, or would she sink back into the abyss? A promise made and tested. Alexis had spent years demonstrating that she was greater than her past sins. She'd rebuilt herself from the ground up, refusing to let her mistakes define her. Port Charles had witnessed her transition from a lady lost in a drink to a pillar of strength. She had helped others through their own challenges, including Hamilton Finn, who was dealing with addiction. She had looked him in the eyes and assured him that redemption was possible and that sobriety was worthwhile. She had intended every word. But it was before Sam was murdered. Previously, she found herself staring at the walls of her empty house, drowning in solitude that used to be filled with her daughter's voice. Before she was forced to relive every memory of Sam's laughter, defiance, and unshakable loyalty, she knew she would never hear it again. The weight of it all crashed against her chest, threatening to suffocate her. She had promised herself that she would stay sober and never let drink to dictate her life again. But grief had a way of dissolving even the most steadfast commitments. As the nights passed and the aching in her heart worsened, she found herself standing in front of her liquor cabinet more than she cared to confess. The temptation lingered in the back of her mind, giving her an escape. One drink. Only one. But she knew better. It was never just one. One marked the start of everything falling apart. Devastation for the Davis family. Alexis was not the only one struggling. The news of Sam's murder had destroyed the Davis family, forcing Molly Lansing Davis and Christina Corinthos Davis to deal with a tragedy they had not anticipated. They had already lost their sister, who they believed died as a result of a medical problem. But this was different. This was neither fate nor misfortune. This was someone's decision. Someone had looked at Sam, their strong, fearless sister, and decided to take her life. Alexis had feared telling them the truth, but they were entitled to know. When she finally sat them down, the words were like shattered glass in her throat. "Molly, Christina. There's something I have to tell you." They had listened, their expressions changing from confusion to terror as the truth emerged. Molly's hands had clenched into fists, her knuckles becoming white as she tried to digest the information. Christina had gone dead silent, her jaw tightening as a fury raged behind her eyes. "No," Christina had said quietly, shaking her head. "No, that's not possible." But it was. There was nothing Alexis could do to lessen the blow. The days after were a jumble of emotions. Anger, sadness, and helplessness. The sisters, who had always had their fights, found themselves striking out at each other more than usual. Grief was responsible for this. It caused people to say things they didn't mean and to turn on each other when they should have been supporting one another. Molly drowned herself in her legal cases, as if paperwork and late nights at the workplace would help her forget about the suffering. Christina, always the firebrand, took a different approach. She sought justice. No, she sought retribution. She stormed into town, demanding answers and desperate to discover who had killed Sam. And Alexis? She was left struggling to keep everything together while barely holding herself up. Nowhere to run, no place to hide. There was no escape the grief. It was there that she awoke, went to bed, and tried to close her eyes only to be met with nightmares. She had thought she was strong enough to face anything, but this loss had left a need in her that she didn't know how to fill. Everywhere she walked, she saw images of Sam. The corner booth at Kelly's where they had previously shared coffee and long chats. They had stood side by side on the docks, watching the waves come in while discussing life, love, and the future. Sam had spent so much of her life at the police station, fighting for justice and seeking the truth. Her daughter had been a force to be reckoned with, a woman who refused to give up no matter what life threw at her. And now she was gone. Alexis realized she needed to be strong not only for herself, but also for her family. But when the weight of her grief threatened to draw her down, strength felt strange. She considered seeking assistance, but admitting she was on the verge of breaking seemed like admitting defeat. She'd spent so long proving to the world that she could stand on her own and didn't need to be saved. How could she suddenly claim that she wasn't as strong as she pretended? A choice that could change everything. The conflict within her went on. Every day, she fought the pull of old habits, the voice in her head telling her that one drink would relieve the ache, even if only temporarily. But then she'd think about Sam. Sam had spent her entire life fighting for what was right. Sam, who had always believed in her even when she had doubts about herself. Sam, who had once looked her in the eyes and expressed her pride in the woman she had become. Will she be proud now? What if Alexis gave in? What if she allowed grief to drag her back into darkness? No. Sam had fought too hard to see her mother stand tall, and Alexis was not ready to disappoint her now. The journey ahead wouldn't be easy. There were days when the sorrow was terrible, and she wanted nothing more than to surrender to the emptiness within her. But she refused to let it win. She would figure out a way to keep going. 4. Molly. 4. Christina. Scout needed someone to be strong for her when she lost her mother. 4. Sam. Because, in the end, living rather than drowning in sadness was the best way to respect her daughter's memory. To fight. To continue moving forward, no matter how difficult it felt. Alexis Davis was a warrior to the core. Soap opera critics review hits and misses, top 10 moments from the week of January 27th to 31st. The week's biggest hits and misses from all 4 soap operas, Days, YNR, GH, and B&B. Edit the excerpt. Top 10 hits and misses. 10. Hit, Sharon bids farewell to Ghost Cameron. While we're fine with Sharon no longer experiencing visions of Cameron, we must admit we'll miss Lyndon Ashby's pop-ups. He and Sharon Case are excellent in their scenes together. And, while Sharon's goodbye to Ghost Cameron was unusual, it was also wonderful. 9. Miss Laura declines to testify for Ava. Laura suddenly empathizes with Sonny again. So Ava can no longer rely on her support during the custody trial. Ava has every right to have her child with her, especially after the explosion that rocked Sonny's penthouse. 8. Miss Something is in the air. Daphne Rose has an allure that we understand. She is the premier nose in Paris and beyond. When she walks into a room, people are captivated by the woman and her fragrance. Can we reduce the number of characters getting a sniff of the air while she is present? 7. Hit, Dante's response to learning that Sam had been slain. As soon as Dante learned that Sam had been slain, he went into crazy mode. He appeared to be shivering with wrath and guilt. The scene at the office with Anna demonstrated Dante's out-of-control emotions. Did he honestly believe he'd be able to handle Sam's case? Then, at the Quartermain stables, he could not stop moving. Dominic Zamprogna is incredibly talented. 6. Miss Marlena confided in Leo. As entertaining as their chats are, Marlena and Leo cannot be trusted pals. He's her client. And, yes, they tried to explain that he hadn't had a session in a while. However, their subsequent talk seemed more like a doctor-client relationship than closest friends. 5. Hit, the Carly and Brennan kiss. It was heated, but more importantly, the kiss was earned. Laura Wright and Charles Measure are a good match. 4. Hit, Holly and Doug 3. Holly and Doug 3 are really sweet. And they're starting to become pals. We admire how they confide in and support each other. 3. Miss Tessa and Aria are safe. When Tessa and Aria are missing, Mariah travels to DEFCON 1. Ian is out there creating havoc and making a big fuss about how he returned to Mariah. Mariah was deeply upset by his appearance, and she blamed herself for everything that had happened since Ian returned to Genoa City. Then Tessa and Aria arrived at Sharon's, and Tessa recounted her catastrophic drive. And that was all. They were not in danger from Ian at all. This had the potential to be a fantastic story for Mariah and Tessa, but it fell flat. 2. Hit, Finn grills Poppy. While we can't believe this tale is going in the direction it is, we were here for Finn grilling Poppy. Someone needs to get the truth out of her once for all. The question of who Luna's father is has been going on for what seems like forever. So Finn questioning Poppy about their shared history was welcome. He also followed his mother's example. Poppy continued to lie, so he decided to get a paternity test. 1. Hit, Mariah discusses with Ian. When everyone thought Ian was dead and his body was being taken out of the Newman Ranch, Mariah had the opportunity to speak with Ian's body and express her feelings about the entire incident. While it was tough to see, we were relieved that she was able to get this off her chest. The other actors in the scenario were clearly watching Cameron Grimes provide an outstanding performance. Let's hoping Grimes earns a Daytime Emmy nomination for her recent efforts. Honorable mentions are Day's Hit, the Women's Bachelorette Party, and EJ celebrating Real Rafe's birthday. These two parties could not have been more different. The Women's Bachelorette celebration was everything a party should be. The characters had a good time, connected through humorous chats, and drank a lot of Jell-O shots. Meanwhile, EJ planned a two-person party for Rafe's birthday that was very hilarious. The way EJ mocked a tied-up Rafe with a birthday cap and muffin. And Rafe received a gift. He managed to clock EJ and knock him out. Miss, the real Rafe has been recaptured. Unfortunately, Rafe, weakened as he was, did not flee from the DiMera estate after getting free. He met Rita, EJ's assistant, and her return was a hit. He also encountered her taser. Why and our Miss Ian awakens in the ambulance? Why? And how long before he returns to bring more murder and destruction? Missing Nick and Adam. We're a sucker for these two getting along. However, the chat in the car rubbed us the wrong way. Nick basically stated that his and Victoria's feelings for Adam are depending on how he behaves. To us, this suggests that the siblings do not have unconditional love for each other. It's incredibly conditional, which is why Adam is concerned about life without Victor. Plus, Nick's admonition to Chelsea regarding Adam was uncalled for. B&B hit, Luna makes an important insight regarding Poppy. You know, I've realized that my mother is a compulsive liar. I don't think she understands she's doing it. Poppy can't stop lying, and if Finn is Luna's father, Lee was correct about Poppy all along. That's an hit as well. Miss, Sheila and Il Giardino. Why do the characters need to ensure Sheila isn't at Il Giardino? Go elsewhere to eat. There must be another restaurant in Los Angeles. Miss, Christina wishes to keep Avery from Ava. Christina blames Ava for the loss of the baby she was carrying. But being so excited about keeping Ava away from her daughter is not the flex she thinks it is. Hit, Drew gets nowhere with Jordan and Curtis. It was fantastic to see Jordan and Curtis tag team Drew across the Port Charles Esplanade. First, Drew must be a superpowered congressman if he's already making things difficult for Aurora and holding up the establishment of a park. He was just sworn in. Also, Drew has to recognize at some point that he is alienating the entire community, right? He keeps wondering how his activities are any worse than those of the other Quartermaines. And they're not. But everyone had to deal with the consequences. You can't just skip over it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.